All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have an Armor Rush deck for you, using Magnamons and veemons, which is pretty fun. It's not a super powerful, gonna win regionals type of deck, but it's still really cool. If you love veemon, if you're a fan of Magnamon, then there's a lot of things that this deck can do. It's pretty cool. And the way I built it, it's a little bit more rushy, slightly more rushy than defensives. It's like all gas, no brakes, essentially. But it definitely wants to draw and get out as many bodies as possible. So we do run 4 Wanyamon babies, that if you have a tamer when attacking, you draw one. You definitely want to keep drawing with this deck. You want to get your pieces, your Veemons, your Magnas, armors, that type of stuff. Bukamon with jamming. You have the opportunity to definitely check some things jamming to keep your bodies alive on the board and let your opponent deal with your bodies. Jamming comes a long way. I think probably run a couple. I think this could be a 4 of if it wasn't for the limited situation, but it's still solid with the draw. We do run 4 of the started the deck, the promo deck. Veemon. This card is just too good. Right now, it's still closer to $2, and absolutely worth it. You need to run 4 of, reduces the distribution cost by one. I'm sorry, so that it's two often. And when attacking, you could, if you have 2 colors or more, you draw one. So it's pretty huge. Both of the things that it does are really good. If you happen to have it with jamming, that's actually also really awesome, right? And ideally, this card is making you or helping you Digimon for cheaper, sometimes even free when you combo it with the purple boot for purple. That Digivolution boost. We'll talk about it. We don't have to run 4 Ukamon. This is probably one of the harder ones to get for this deck. You just gotta keep turboing it. Like the whole point of the deck is to try to get as many bodies to win as fast as possible. Ukamon is of course the card that does that. Um, if you're not aware of what it does, it is a free type, so it can be picked up by anything that searches free. Obviously, can't Digivolve into an armor, can't happen. But when it is pushed up from raising, it actually hatches an egg and gains 1 memory. And then from then on, whenever you bring out from the breeding area, you're going to gain 1 memory and hatch another egg if you keep it alive and on the board. So people will look to deal with this card pretty often. And you definitely want to take advantage of it as much as possible. Try to get as many bodies out with Ukamon as you can. Another 4 of is this veemon here. This veemon, when played, reveals 3 cards unless you pick up a free and 1 Davis. There's multiple Davises, not just 4. There's 5 Davises, 6 Davises even. And free trait means that you can pick up your Ukamon, you can pick up Veemon, you can pick up Magnamon. You cannot pick up Magna X, not this version yet. Well, not any version. None of them are free. And of course, it has the inherited DNA, which I do run a Chimeramon. I'll just say that right now. So that could potentially come in handy. Just one Chimeramon is what I run. Um, 3 of the pick up a two color blue Veemon. Again, we are trying to max. We're not maxing out on the Veemons, but 3 of these is pretty good. Since there's a couple of things that you want to do by playing these Veemons with your Davis. I also run 3 jamming Veemon. Getting some chip damage to get the rush going is, of course, really nice. If you have Wanyamon and a Tamer already, you can just check jamming, draw one. Pretty nice combo. Um, it's really nice to have that threat of Veemon just being able to survive. Run 4 of the Unsuspending Magnamon. This card is key. A blocker gains DP and unsuspends. The unsuspend is probably, arguably, the better situation. Sometimes you can have a Magnamon swing, break armor potentially, and then Digivolve into this for cheap, maybe 2 with the Veemon, or even less if you have the training. Stand back up and swing again, and if you have armors in the trash, it will just gain DP with that. This is a very big piece of the puzzle, as is the other Magnamon, which is the starter deck, Black and Blue Magnamon. This card is good. It has security, de-digivolution on your opponent, which is really nice. Blocker, armor purge, as well as when digivolving, you may trash sources from your opponent, which is pretty nice. If there's an ace or something like that under, huge. And of course, it returns a card to your opponent's hand, which also is huge. You can bounce back an ace and keep turn. This card is humongous. These 2 Magnamons are core. You need 4 and 4. It is huge. I also run 2 of the Royal Knights Magnamon. Um, he does get to play a Veemon from under its sources or from your hand on deletion, which is really nice. Um, you also get to draw one. This is not the best one, but like when you're into Magnamon and keep it going. Like if you place another veemon Searcher, for example, then you're gonna be chilling. You're gonna be doing pretty good with that. Pretty good. I run one Lydramon. For Chimeramon's green sources, it's a spend to level 4. Sometimes there might be something pesky, little, small going on. If this is on top of veemon, or Digivolve's on top of this veemon, you Digivolve for 1. You could potentially just kill something small. There's also a couple of cards that take advantage of armor. And of course, it helps to trigger one of the options that I'll talk about later because it is green. Or rather, green helps it. I run one jamming Lanamon. You can make the argument for Kudamon as well. I personally like having the jamming available so that I might be able to keep the body and go into Chimeramon to swing an additional time, right? So if I have a Tamer and a Digimon out that already swung, I can go into Lanamon, get the jamming, swing, survive, Chimeramon, that's another swing, and maybe win that way. That's one of the ways that I like to use Lanamon here. 2 Pseudomon. Ace as a mechanic is just so good. Bouncing back your opponent is really nice. Pseudomon is a goat, but don't want to have too many of them. 2 is perfectly fine. 2 is really good. You have armor on the field and your opponent swings, so you can definitely bounce them with the Pseudomon, which is pretty nice. One Chimeramon, as I mentioned earlier, these are the only level 5s that I run here. Chimeramon, which can take up the color blue. Pseudomon, which is already blue because I want to be able to go into Magna X. I only run 2. This card is, for me, is too defensive. It's not super offensive. Costs 4 to Digivolve from a Magnamon. 3 if you have a blue level 5, which, these guys don't really want to be out on the board all the time or consistently. But yeah, this Magnamon is solid. I run 2. Some people run 3. It's pretty cool. Davis, 4 of. You're not going to use the Digivolve into X veemon. This deck does not run X veemon, but playing the veemon is huge. You can put a Davis Tamer down with the Searcher veemon simultaneously. That's a really good turn 1 situation. And then for the rest of the game, as long as this Davis is out there, of course, if you have a free, you're going to gain 1 memory. If you have multiples of these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, or 4, not 5, then you gain additional memory, 1 memory for each one. And Ukamon counts as a free, so any of the rookies will all count towards Davis at the beginning of the main phase, which is really nice. Oh my god, the glare. How's that? Okay, that's good. We have a regular Searcher Davis. This is just a still pretty good card. You can pick up Lydramon if you have it, and of course any of the blue cards, blue Digimon rather. Really good card, of course. Davis and Ken. I run this because I like to unsuspend. If you could get this down, and you happen to have no armor and a veemon, and you have for example this guy right here, or somebody who just would like to unsuspend, you can get this Davis and Ken to unsuspend you and swing an additional time. Again, this deck is about getting more swings, whether it's through the hybrid, through the DNA Digivolution, through the Ukamon's Rush situation, Davis and Ken unsuspending you, and we got more to come. Louis is another one that does that. Louis on play will bring out your Ricky from Raising. This could be a veemon. Of course, it will be a veemon, probably. And then when you raise something, you get tap and gain 1 memory. This essentially it's almost like a pseudo Mimi. It gets out of Ricky that can swing into your opponent. So this is also another win now button. 2 Fire Rockets, security check +1. If you have a pretty big Magnamon going, or if it would benefit for your Magnamon to die for whatever reason, Fire Rocket will get you there. Fire Rocket is really nice. Of course, it kills a blocker. There's many blockers in the game now. Fire Rocket, solid. Maybe I'd run 3. I don't know. Heaven's Judgment can be triggered by a green card, which is Lydramon or Davis, as well as yellow, of course. If you have yellow, there's some Magnamon. All the Magnamons are yellow. Not all. Some of them are yellow. For every color, -6,000. Potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors. This card could be devastating in the right situation. Awakening of the Golden Knight. If you have an armor, you can go into a Magnamon. You can turn a Magnamon into a Magnamon. You can turn the Lydramon into Magnamon. Unsuspending, if you have this one, it's swung, and then you don't have a situation where you can swing again. Boom, Awakening, go into Magna, boom, and then you can swing for game. Because it ignores the evolution requirements. You can go level 4 to level 4. I run 3 mental training. I can see the argument for 4, but mental training, of course, going into Magnamon for free and getting that little search, really good. situation for mental training. I should probably don't need to say much more than that. Armor texture. Switch armors. If your Magnamon swung, it cannot. It's one of those that can't unsuspend whatever situation. You can get rid of the armor, switch into the unsuspended, and swing again. Armor texture does that for you, and often can be another win button. So there's all these win button situations in this deck, which are really nice. And then of course one ice wall. I can see this being a mental training as well if you want to go a little bit more aggressive. But the one of ice wall is just this. This card is just really good. And it can stall for a turn, right? It can get you to not to not die so slowly. If you just need that additional turn to win, Ice Wall might be able to do that for you because this deck is trying to be fast, trying to finish your opponent. Sometimes that one turn can make a big difference. Anyway, that is the deck. Tell me what you think about it. I don't think it's perfect, but there's definitely probably a couple of changes I can make. But this is fine. This is cool. I like it. I run it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.